Okay, so surface area of a pyramid, like we were talking about in the warm-up, has to do with just the triangular sides of the pyramid, because pyramids always go to a point there. And so we have the 1/2 in the formula, and we have an L. So L is slant height. Underline that, circle that, and that's just because we don't have the vertical height like we did on our prisms. We have the slant height right here. So it will usually be labeled for you. Sometimes you have to do Pythagorean theorem or something else for it. Slant height is always at a right angle to the edge of the base here. So you'll still see the right angle there because it's height, but it's just slanted. It's not the vertical height in the middle. And then surface area is just one base plus that lateral height. And if we're on a cone, it's even easier. We just have pi radius times the slant height. Alright, so for exercise 1, have they given us all the information we need to find this easily?
Yeah.
Yeah, they gave us everything. So first we're going to find the perimeter, we're going to identify our slant height, we're going to find the area of the base. So how would we find the perimeter of this shape? 18 times 6 sides. What is 18 times 6?
108.
108. Alright, what is our slant height here?
17.
6 sides. Did we count it right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 18 times 6 sides. Alright, what is our slant height here?
17.
17.
Feet.
And how do we find the area of that base?
1/2 perimeter times slant height.
So of the base, though, is 1/2
Base on height.
apothem times perimeter. That was probably the most missed question on the test. Well, the ones where you had to use trig or special rights for it. So that means it's 1/2 times, what's the apothem here?
9
How can I tell 9√3 is the apothem?
Yeah.
It has the dot and it has the right angle here.
Yeah.
And then times the 108 that we already found. When we multiply this, do we multiply out the √3 or do I leave it as √3? Mm-hmm. And then at the end, if I need a decimal answer, I can convert it at the end. And so, what does that become? 46√3. And then to find the total, so first I'm going to find the lateral area because it tells me to find both and the surface area. So lateral area is what?
1/2 perimeter slant height.
So 1/2 of 108 times 17. What does that come out to?
918.
Alright, so that's our lateral area. Then our surface area is just the 918 that we already found, plus our 486√3. And so if we've been asked to leave it in exact form, that's our answer. Feet squared.
Why do we have homework? It's way harder.
Because it lets you find out whether you're doing it right or not, and keep trying until you get it right. But if you get it wrong on homework, you usually get it wrong on the test too. And so it's better to have it on the homework where you keep trying.
That's the big.
No, nothing wrong.
Have you seen
Big ideas
my
makes me feel
homework
stupid.
grade?
Alright. Then if we want it in decimal format, who can type that in and tell me what decimal format is?
But I don't want it in decimal.
But we need to know how to find both. Did Big Ideas ask you for decimal or exact?
Decimal.
That's what I thought.
Where's the big idea?
Okay. So it becomes 1759.78
That's too much.
feet squared. Do we need to review how to type that in the calculator?
No.
You just type it in and press enter.
Yeah, just type it in and press enter. Alright, on our next one, do we have all the information that we need?
No.
What's missing this time? The apothem, or since it's a triangle, we can just do base times height. And so, to make it a little simpler, I'm going to draw. Is this an equilateral triangle?
Yes.
Yes, because it has all those.
Bingo.
Okay, so if it's an equilateral triangle, we've learned this. We can real quickly find out that slant height. Can anyone tell me what it is? What that height is?
10.
Height is 10.
Oh.
5.
Okay,
12.
so on an equilateral triangle, what are the angles measure?
30.
45.
60. They're all 60,
Oh,
which means the top one is cut in half is 30. So we have our special right triangle.
It's going to be
3 root 3.
Yeah, so that middle is going to be 3 root 3.
It's special rights.
Okay. If you don't understand that yet, you need to maybe come into tutoring and work on those, because that got a lot of people on this test if you never learned that. Really, probably the most commonly missed problems on the test were ones that took these. Okay, so now I have, what is my perimeter of this one?
18. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just 6 times the 3 sides, which is 18. What is my slant height?
10.
Can y'all mental math the lateral area?
lateral area. What's that? 180.
90.
95. 90.
Yeah. Okay.
The heck, man.
So lateral area is 90 square feet. What is the area of the base? Or how do we figure out the area of the base? We found the height. We just have to plug it into the formula. So what's the formula for a triangle?
Base times height divided by 2.
Mm-hmm. So what is the base of my triangle? Yeah, so 1/2 6 times 3 root 3.
Oh, never mind. 9 root 3.
9 root 3.
Where do you get 30 from?
6 times 10 divided by 2.
Where'd you get 10?
So 30 would be one of the 30 would be one of the sides. So that is the thing, you guys, on these. Make sure you're differentiating between, hey, what's our base and what's the height going up to the point in the corner.
The heck, man.
And so then our surface area would just be our 90 plus 9 root 3 feet squared. And if you're asked for a decimal answer, can you get it faster than me?
No.
What'd you get? 105.5 what? 588.
Feet squared.
Feet squared. Alright, once you have that, flip to the next page.
Oh my gosh. Oh no, we don't have 10. Well, no.
Okay, yeah, we don't have anything in the diagram, but we do have stuff. So what do we have here?
You have the
Base edge is 16
Natural height.
centimeters. And the length
you
is
have the
16.
height, which is 16. You base like
So our height is 16.
each side is 15.
Our base edge length is 60. So which one is 60?
The edge.
B.
Yeah, so 60,
Oh yes.
60. So what am I going to have to find?
The slant.
How am I going to find the slant height from what they
Special
give
height.
me?
Base. Oh, base.
There's 16 in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you divide 16 in half, it's 30, and that goes from the H to the B, or
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
whoever it is, and then you do figure out stop, and you end up getting 30.
Yeah, so do you guys see that? So, do you need me to explain it again?
You need to explain it.
This
I heard.
3D stuff is messing with my head.
I know, it can be challenging.
It's like 3D.
Okay, so you guys, this is the way you do it, is we need to find the slant height. And you will have lots of questions like this, so make sure you pay attention to the steps.
Oh, I see it now.
Okay, so we are going to draw, our height is 16. our base of that triangle, the height always comes from the exact center of the pyramid. And so then we divide the 60 in half to get 30. So that was our 60. Half of a side is 30, and then this is C. And so we do Pythagorean theorem.
A squared plus,
Your square pyramid
It's 34.
It's what?
It's gonna be 34.
Going to be 34?
When you square it. When you
square root it.
So, like, what do you have to do? Does that really tell you what to do?
I just told you what to do. Did you listen? Sorry, what does it come out to? 34?
1,166.
It comes to 34. Okay,
Nice job.
so now our slant height's 34. Okay, so I'm going to finish working it out, and we'll pause for a minute for you to explain it to your groups if you need to. Okay, so our first step was find slant height with Pythagorean theorem.
So we found it.
You guys, how do we know when to use Pythagorean theorem and when to use like special rights or trig?
Well, equilateral
When you-
triangle,
when you know the
special
When,
rights. Angles.
when,
So, would you turn to the person beside you and say, use Pythagorean theorem when you know two sides, use trig or special rights when you know one side and one angle?
use.
Can you just write that on the board?
Then you have two sides.
No, you guys
But
are
you
in high
can write all
school.
this other stuff.
Right. When you have one side.
Can I write it on the board?
And angles.
Pythagorean theorem when you know what?
When you know two sides, because we need either both like an A and a B or an A and a C.
Word of.
Yes.
If something's like in a decimal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it wants you to use like other things like whatever this thing's called in a Korean sign.
The
Can you
radical.
just like go ahead and do that because it's already in a decimal and you just continue with that?
I mean, if you work, like, so you're saying, like, if you worked it out with trig instead of special rights, and so you have it in decimal form?
I'm saying like let's say that instead of 60 it gave for like the edges it gave you like 60.1. Then
Oh.
instead of like that's not really problem.
I would say if it gives you decimals, probably just work it out in
Like it
decimals.
says like multiply times pi or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
But usually leave pi as pi. Okay. Focus back in now. Do you think your partner knows what you explained to them? No?
Yeah.
Yes, they definitely know it? Okay. Alright, so now we have our slant height. What do I do now? What's next?
Lateral.
So, yeah, so for lateral, what do I need?
Let me go back.
Oh, wait. It's,
that clock is so
One half
8 o'clock.
perimeter lateral.
so there's 60 bases, so 6 times 4. Or 60 bases.
Okay,
60 times 4.
so
For the base.
for perimeter,
Base.
Yeah.
Base
no.
is 60 times 60.
Yeah, base is 60 times 60.
Nice.
That's 360.
So perimeter's 240, that's 360.
What?
3,060.
60?
That's what it said.
So each side is 60.
Wait, why would you multiply it by 60 if there's 4
Yeah.
bases?
Oh, 6 times 4.
I'm
Okay.
Find the area of the
I'm
base.
so lost.
Okay, so perimeter is all 4 sides, right? So each side's 60, so I multiply it times 4 to get 240. Base is just still side times side, so I still have to do 60 times 60. So, are y'all with me now?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay.
Some of y'all understand.
Alright, so lateral area is just 1/2.
Perimeter times the
So 240 times 34. Can anyone mental math that one?
no.
I can. 60.
Can you type it in the calculator faster than me?
60.
It's not 60.
Remember, I wanted this.
73.77.
No, 8,160.
140 times 34.
8,180. Oh, you
Okay,
divide by
I'm hearing
4.
lots.
Or 2.
No.
Yeah.
4,000 and
I was
80.
right for
That-
once.
4,080.
What does it, centimeters?
Is 7,680.
And then surface area
Good for this.
is the 4080 plus 3,600, which comes out to what?
7,680.
On camera.
So our cones, our formula from the page before is just our lateral area is pi radius slant height, and then our surface area
Is base plus lateral area equals pi radius squared plus pi radius slant height.
So this is a really simple, plug it into your calculator and do it. See if you can identify your radius, your slant height, and get to that answer
Is the slant height?
before I show you. Don't say it until I tell you. I want to give everyone a turn to try.
No, I'm not trying to do this one. I'm computer.
Whatever.
Number 4. But don't say it out loud till I tell you, okay?
To find a circle, the area is pi r squared.
Pi r
What the
squared.
heck is happening? What?
Alright, and once you've gotten to an answer, give me a thumbs up. Alright, we have 2 people.
What's the base?
Wait, is the surface area required to just B plus L?
So how do you find the area of a circle?
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
We get
1/2
a
base
formula
on.
chart.
Yeah, where's
You have the formula on the page before. You can
of a
flip it over.
circle.
Yes.
No, we don't. What's the
It's also written on the board over there.
what? Where?
Pi r squared.
I'm dumb.
Alright, do I have anyone else who has it now? You got it? You think?
Hold on this long.
And I'm going to draw a popsicle stick for who's going to answer me. So if you don't have an answer, and see, Jacob, you're in 2 desks right now because you're sitting at one desk and working at another. So two numbers could work for you.
What if she's like?
It could be 8 or sit in between the desk and
I'm in between the desks. There's no room for me to go before the desk.
Okay, I got desk 19, which is somewhere in the back. Who's in seat 19? Alright, did you get an answer, Gio?
Like lateral.
Let's start with lateral.
I got 2. I got it in this one.
Okay,
There's 205.8.
okay.
Go.
So 205.836. And then what did we do to get that?
I just plugged in pi times the radius times the slant height.
So pi times 6.3
Yeah.
times 10.4. Alright, then I'm drawing desk 7.
Oh, that's Chase.
Pretty sure that one's Chase. Chase, what do we add now for the slant height? I mean, sorry, for the base
For the base.
and the whole surface area.
For the surface area, you have to add the base.
And did you get the base yet?
No.
Can you get the base real quickly?
124.69.
Yeah.
You know, Enrique, you're not Chase.
Let me try to get the base real quick. The area of the base?
And then when we add it all together, what's it become?
330.527.
So confused.
Okay, wait, what did you get for the whole base?
What?
I got the
How'd you
same,
find the
same
base?
as you.
You got this, right? And then what is it when you add it together?
I swear, did I count it wrong?
How'd you get 1.5?
No.
Yeah.
And we're dealing in inches, right?
Inches squared. That was so easy.
Alright, is anything different in the next one?
No.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's no We don't know the
Slanted.
slanted height.
And so this one, is this going to be Pythagorean theorem or special rights? And how do we know?
Pythagorean theorem.
Because we have two sides.
Pythagorean theorem.
Because we have two sides. Did question, or were you going to answer, Jacob? Did you have a question?
I'm asking my group.
So it's 20.
What was the question?
21 squared plus 20 squared equals
29.
So when you plug it in, it becomes 29? Okay, so when we do the math, 29 equals C, which is our slant height. Okay, so I'm going to pause again, see if you can complete this problem. This is with whole numbers, so we're going to leave it in pi format, okay? So this one is just two shapes, right? And so what do you think we're going to do with these two shapes?
Add them together, but you can't do the base.
Add them together, except we don't do where they touch each other, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be lateral area of cone, because we don't need the base of the cone, plus lateral area of the cylinder, plus the base of, plus just one base total, because we still need the base of the whole cylinder, but nothing else. Do we need to do we have everything we need, or do we need to find a missing part?
We have
the last
slanted
height.
Height, which is 4.
It's 4. No.
It's 7.
Yes.
It's 4.
25.
Is it 4?
5.
Oh!
Okay, so I heard a lot of people say it.
Oh!
You guys see 3, 4, 5 is one of our Pythagorean triples, but 5 would have to be hypotenuse. So first we do our 3 squared plus 5 squared.
15.
15.
And it comes.
Wait.
5.8.
So it's-
0.95.
It's whatever this thing is in the big one.
5.8.
So what do you think? Should we leave it like that, or should we do decimals?
Shoot.
I think we should probably do decimals. So you said it was 5 point what?
5.83095.
5.84.
Where do we
Okay.
decimals?
No.
No,
Just
5.83. I missed the 0.
So remember, in big ideas, they want you to round as the very last step. So I would keep it as the whole thing until the very last step. So now let's do our lateral area of the cone. Equals what?
Oh.
5
I forgot it.
times 5
Pi.
5
Just go back.
8
Times 5.
3
Pi radius.
side 9
All right. And what is, we're going to leave pi as pi until the very last step. So what does that become?
I got 29.1548.
So 29.1548 pi.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Okay. How, question? Okay, so we found that. Now we have to find the lateral area of the cylinder. How do we find the lateral area of the cylinder?
That's the area of the base. Or,
2.
no, the circumference.
2 pi r radius height.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
Find our radius?
So it's 2 pi 5 10.
Can y'all mental math that one?
Let's see.
50
50.
pi.
100
100
pi.
100 pi.
Yeah.
Mental math on
All right. And then how about the area of the base?
Pi r squared.
So pi r squared is 25 pi, right?
Mm.
Okay. And so then we're just going to have, for the total surface area, we just add them all together. So 29.1548 plus 100 pi plus 25 pi.
Which is 125.
So many numbers.
I know.
Aren't you glad we give you calculators?
Down right
That's 125. 154.83.
154.83.
Wait, no.
I got 155.
You're adding the
rounded.
pies in.
And then we have pi. And then when you do that, and if we put it in fully decimal format,
You didn't round.
you're not supposed to round to the very last step.
Oh, well, I didn't. Wait.
And so then that equals 484.29. Okay, so there is a big ideas assignment. The one from last class is due by tonight if you didn't finish that. If you have questions, now would be the time to do it. No.
Nobody